Patty's 1880 Settlement would like to wish you and yours a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
I'm here today and all I hear is how I'm chasing crazy dreams. They'll see, 'cause I've got perfect songs and melodies just waiting to come out of me, and you'll sing along like, oh, whoa. Fancy words, clever lines and tales that take you back in time, and you'll sing along like, oh, whoa, and they'll know. Everyone will know. They should have believed in me.
Should have believed, baby.
Thank you so much for watching The Spiel. We're excited about being here today. They're excited about being here today. There's a lot of us.
The camera
excitement.
people or the viewers?
Right there. See, I was taught long ago that you look right into the camera and you treat it like another person, just one person in their living room. Like now they're a little creeped out because we're looking at you.
It reminds me of Romper Room years ago. Do you remember Romper Room?
No.
You don't?
Yeah, but what did they do about that? They did nothing like that.
Yes, they did.
Oh, they
Romper
did?
Room, she would do the magic mirror thing, but the mirror it was hollow. I mean, they took the mirrors out. She had a pretend mirror, and she'd go, oh, I see Betty. And if you were Betty at home, you'd be going,
Oh, that's weird. Okay, we should do
Julie's
that.
with us today. Hey, Julie, Tom, Charlie.
So Tom thinks you can see him there in his underwear? Oh,
yes,
that's funny.
And Tom's at home going,
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
it's
that.
great.
Well, you know, we're already calling people out. If you're watching, we're calling you out. But and I'm going to make some people mad right now.
Oh,
I've
Angie.
told you that this show is about light, fluffy, airy things, but we have to address something.
What now?
What is it called? Sportsman-like conduct? Is that what it is? Sportsman-like conduct.
Have you ran into something lately that's just...
Oh. Let me tell you where it begins. If your child ever throws down his glove or throws his bat or throws the ball, football, soccer, hockey, whatever, grab them by the ear, take them behind the dugout or whatever, and smack that hiney, because I tell you what, these kids that have been allowed to go on and behave that way, and now they're into...
Now they're in jail.
Exactly. That's where it leads. See, I made you mad, but Julie made you even more mad.
They're going to jail.
But it's ridiculous. You know, it's an embarrassment for the team. You just, and that's in life too. Okay, say you're at a business meeting. It doesn't go your way.
Oh.
You don't storm out and show your hind end. You know, you just, thank you very much for your time. And
Yes.
you have to get that.
And you know what? We've ran into that all summer long.
We have. It's ridiculous.
By grown-ups and children.
Yes, and coaches.
God, coaches?
Coaches.
Then what's that
adults,
teaching the children?
Fair managers.
Fair managers.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. You know, I don't care if you represent your mom and dad. I don't care if you represent the team. I don't care if you represent the state of Illinois. Represent me by being a better person, because I'm going to pay you the same respect. Mm-hmm. If I'm out representing who we are in whatever capacity, you want to do it with grace and style and with some, what's the word, Matt? Tact? What do you call it? Tact.
No.
That's it.
Couth. Hey, how about that word from Julie?
It's not hard, but I'm telling you, if you happen to be one of those kids or those adults who just huff and puff and
But you know what? If you're the coach that does that,
well, I'm not saying our coaches.
It makes the parent look bad. I mean, it gives everyone that bad connotation.
If the coaches do it, it makes the parent look bad?
Well, it's that team. You know, if you're at the Kroger the next day, they're going, she was on that coach's team.
Yeah. Well, there's a difference between being a tough coach, and my son adores his coaches. Being a tough coach and coming down hard on the kids, if you have their respect, they still respect you, because you coach in different ways.
Sure.
You know how I am sometimes. I mean, I try to be nice. It doesn't happen all the time. And look, because it's never ever personal, sometimes it's professional, and you just have a job to do, and you have to get from point A to point B, and you hope nobody's in your way. Because then there's unsportsmanlike conduct that happens right there.
Let's go back to I try to be nice. No, and you know what? We've talked about this before, since we're talking about coaches and teams, and my motto on that, don't you?
What's that?
Everybody plays.
Oh boy.
Don't get me going there.
I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Especially when you're up 15-0, why don't you put the kid in and let him bat?
Yes.
You know, it's okay.
Yes.
Not that we've dealt with anything like that.
Never.
Yeah, let them all play.
But you're right. You're
I
right.
agree.
You know, and it's kind of like the theme of our show every week. Bottom line is be nice.
That's right. That's right. Stay tuned because we have a guy who was quite the player coming up. Amazing story.
Coming up on the Spiel.
When you're a father, you'll do some pretty, and you know, as mothers too. I mean, you do some pretty amazing things for your kids or for your loved ones.
It's important for me to provide the best care that I can for the patients that come to see us. All right, now breathe normal. I can tell you that I care a lot about the patients that I take care of. We're here to provide, hopefully, preventative care. We do provide reactionary care because that's what people come with the sniffly nose and their high blood pressure and after a heart attack and after their stroke. But try to get on the bandwagon sooner. You know, that pap smear, that mammogram, that colonoscopy, they're all for a reason.
I chose Three Rivers College because it's affordable.
It costs less, a lot less.
Less than the same courses at a four-year university.
And the quality is just as good.
Maybe even better.
Because at Three Rivers, classes are small.
And instructors really care about their students.
At Three Rivers, they helped me find financial aid.
I'm getting a great education without a ton of debt.
Three Rivers College.
Success starts here.
Register now.
Financial responsibility has never been an easy lesson to teach kids.
Mom, Ashley's here. We're going to the mall.
Okay, sweetie, be careful. Don't forget your debit card. Okay.
Until now. Introducing the Bank of Heron Teen Debit Account. Your teen gets their own debit card from the Bank of Heron, and you get the peace of mind of 24/7 account monitoring with the Bank of Heron mobile app.
Honey, when did our daughter get a debit card?
Hello, it's 2015.
It's not just a bank, it's a relationship.
I have a partial denture that drives me crazy, so I'd like to get something permanent.
One of the most dramatic advances in implant dentistry is the introduction of what's called computer-guided surgery. Because when we have a guide, the surgery is much quicker and it's more conservative. No sutures, there's no bleeding, quicker recovery, no pain, and happier patient, and happier doctor too.
It's going to mean everything.
You know, this show is all about introducing remarkable people to our audience, and we've done that today with Jason Swan. Thank you so much for being here.
Not a problem.
You know, in life, we're going to have certain things arise. We're going to have things that mean a lot to us. And you can sit there and talk about it, or you can choose to get up and do something about it. And I think that's what you've done, right?
I like to think that that's what I've done, yeah. So.
Okay. Just tell us a little bit about the backstory and why you're here.
Yeah, one of the reasons I'm here is because we went into a program called Cavin's Run, and what Cavin's Run was originally started out as just kind of a single one-time event, and we've changed it a little bit into an organization. We're going to have several events actually. Kevin is my oldest son, and he was born in Springfield in 2003. And shortly after we moved back to Southern Illinois in 2005, he was diagnosed with autism. And at the time, we didn't have, you know, to be perfectly honest, I didn't have a lot of background understanding, knowledge of what autism was.
Sure.
So we sought some treatment and some help, and how do we move from there? Luckily, our family is a very pragmatic family, so it was kind of, here's the situation, where do we go from here, sort of thing. And through a friend of mine who actually is in a similar situation, I was introduced to the Center for Autism Spectrum Disorder program in the WAM building at Southern Illinois University, Carterville.
SIU, yeah.
And met, you know, Kirsten and a lot of wonderful people there, Leah Grannon, and so we started therapy and treatment and things like that there. And the really unique part about when you think of therapy and treatment, or you think it as individualized, and you think that, okay, we're going to send my son here, but it's really therapy for the whole family, and it's treatment and it's education for the whole family, and that's what's so great about that program. We learn to help Kevin advance. We learn to, as a family, as parents, to help ourselves cope with the situation and also advance as well, and to continue that education with him.
So he was born in 2003. He wasn't diagnosed in 2005. Can you explain a little bit? Did you know he was a little different, or
the signs?
Not at first, actually, and it's typical with, obviously, with anything on the spectrum disorder, whether it's Asperger's or autism or wherever your ranking is. because it is a spectrum disorder. It's not, there's not one, or there's not one, two cases that are alike.
Sure.
So what happened, he was very normal functioning after birth. He was hand-eye coordination was very good, as I was going through memorization skills. Speaking process was on par.
Wow.
We had another son right about that same time, and we actually moved, so there's a lot of transition phases in his life. So we thought, when we first started noticing some difference, we kind of chalked it up to the transition phases, to be perfectly honest. You know, we'd packed away all the things that he was comfortable with. We were moving, there's a new baby, you know, that kind of thing. And it began more and more obvious of his type of withdrawal. And he began to speak less. He began to withdraw from eye contact. He began to withdraw basically from interaction with other people, period. And so we had a friend of our family's actually kind of introduce us to this idea, and we didn't really know where to go, so we began to research, you know, and figure out where we could go as far as to have something done. And one of the most common traits, ironically, is that because he's withdrawing and won't answer you, it's almost a commonality to have their ears checked to make sure they're hearing fine. So when we did that, just very nonchalantly and bluntly, to be honest with you, his pediatrician looked at us and said, "Well, have you thought about a possible diagnosis of autism?" And I said, no, absolutely not. You know, that never really crossed our mind.
Right.
We had no history of the disorder in our family or anything like that. So we began to make phone calls in Children's Hospital in St. Louis, Cardinal Glennon, and we ended up getting into a place that was at one time called the Judah Vine Center in Clayton, Missouri. And they don't do specific diagnosis, but they do assessments. So he was assessed, scored a ranking score on what they use as a CARS test, and that placed him on the spectrum as a moderate to high functioning autistic. And so after that, and through them, we were able to schedule with child psychologists, and he was able to give the diagnosis.
So as part of the reason for this run is because I've already learned a lot sitting here talking to you. Is it about education? Is it about more funding? What do we need to improve the lives of these individuals?
It was about several things, actually, and it's definitely about education. Just this summer, I was at the gym, and unfortunately, one of the people I've met at the gym, she had just recently had her daughter was just recently diagnosed with autism. And right now, statistically, 1 in 66 to 1 in 68 children are diagnosed with autism. And that's obviously a striking number. But her questioning was, well, I know your son has autism, he's doing very well, and Cavin's 12 years old now. What did you do? And it took me back a little bit because, you know, there's, Autism Speaks run these ads, and there's so much publications out there and things, and there's still not, you know, just like with any disorder, I think, or any condition, there's still more that can be done. And, you know, I thought, wow, well, here's an individual who is going through a very similar situation that I went through not too long ago. What can I do to help this situation out? I'm not an expert. I'm not, you know, a clinical psychologist or anything like that, and I'm not somebody that can step in and say, well, you need to do this, this, and this. So what do I do? And I thought back to some of my readings and things like that, and I thought about St. Vincent de Paul and how he said, you do what you can with what you have, and for other people. And that's why you're given those gifts, is to service other people. And I thought, well, you know what I can do? You know, I'm a former athlete. I do a lot of running and things like that. Why don't I talk with my trainer and a couple of friends of mine and see if we can put something together to where we can connect some area education.
And boy, did you.
And,
I mean,
yeah, and what we did was
running and just kept on running.
You know what, it reminds me of Forrest Gump.
What we did was we utilized the two locations. Both my sons were born in Springfield, and then you can kind of say the rebirth, I guess, you know, with Cavan was in Carbondale.
Sure.
So we utilized those locations, and we decided what we wanted to do is we wanted to connect the community from Central Illinois to Southern Illinois, and we wanted to do that through foot and through social media. And we were going to run from the Center of Autism Spectrum Disorder to what's called TAP, which is the Autism Program of Illinois, which is state funded. TAP has several programs throughout the state of Illinois, O'Fallon, Charleston, Effingham, many different places. So we began on August 16th, and I say we because I had a driver that would spot me, that would rabbit me basically for about 3 to 5 miles ahead.
Wow. Question real quick.
Question real quick.
Before you started that, and before you got your spotter and you was going to run, did you think I'm going to run over 100 miles?
Oh, almost
Or did
200.
you have 25? I mean, what made you think?
He just didn't think. He did it. If you think too much, you might not have done it.
We did train. I mean, we trained for about, I wanted a longer training period, to be perfectly honest. We ended up training for about 2 months. So I had a nutritionist work with me because I knew most of my diet was going to be liquid. I had a strength and conditioning coach obviously work with me to avoid injury.
Yeah. The distance, just so we can sort of draw a visual image as you talk about what you were preparing for, was it 170 miles?
It was 160.2. It's the 0.2 at the end that
That's
really,
it.
yeah, that's the one that gets you.
And you did it in?
Over the course of 3 days.
3 days.
So we left Carbondale at 7 a.m. and I arrived at TAP on a Sunday and arrived at TAP on Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning.
I don't think I can ride a bicycle from Carbondale to Marion in 3 days.
You'd be surprised what you could do.
Seriously, wow.
So talk about how you decided, how far you were going to run and then where you had to take breaks and what your body and your shoes went through.
Absolutely. we had we had 3 different plans. We came to conclusion that we were going to go with one of the 3 different plans. We didn't go in with a plan. So we had 3 plans, and what the plans were is to let my body kind of guide me. Like I talked to Julie a little bit before, I'm not an expert runner. I'd played college football, I'd ran some triathlons, I'd ran some 5Ks and marathons, stuff like that. I'm pretty much a novice. It's not something that I do every weekend. Oh, let's go run 50 miles, So through the training process, we kind of came up with these 3 plans. And one of them was to split it out evenly. The other one was to cut the huge gap in the beginning and then become less as we go along. So we ended up going with that plan. And basically what that plan constituted of was we had to go 93 miles in the first day, 56 miles in the second day, and about 10.2 in the third day. So
the last 10.2.
The last 0.2.
Okay.
Actually, the first 93 were the killer, to be perfectly honest. There was a lot of damage physically, and that's one thing I didn't quite bank on. I'm a lot older than I used to be, but at the same time, I know it gets you, yeah. What? There was a lot of impact wounds and damaging to the feet specifically. Oh. So the shoes I had were good shoes, and they were actually only 2 weeks old, and we completely destroyed them in 3 days. So
seriously?
Yeah, it was
Did
pretty,
you have to get different shoes along the way?
It was something. No, I still have the shoes. I'm not getting rid of the shoes, but
but those shoes went the distance.
Those shoes went the distance, yeah. And a good running shoes, and probably good runners will tell you, shoes are good for about 75 miles. So 3 days I pretty much ended that. But it was an unbelievable, awesome experience. You spend a lot of time alone in your head. Yeah. You spend a lot of time alone, talking yourself through these things. Sure. We did have a Facebook page called Cabins Run, and we linked the 2 programs to each other. So at night, I didn't get to so much the first night because I was in the long recovery period, but the second night I did get to see all the posts and the support and the things like that was going on just for the process itself, and that was very motivating.
So when the first day was done, how did you spend your evening? What did you do? Lay in a whirlpool? What did you do?
I took 4 ice baths that night. I had some pretty severe issues with cramping, and it was one of those things that I was going to crawl into Springfield if I had to. So
were the tears flowing at that point too?
At that point, they weren't flowing. I won't say flowing. We do want to sound like a man here, right? Yeah. But when I came around the corner, I was welcomed by an unexpected grouping of people. Wow. Several individuals that are on the spectrum. Firehouse 11 from Springfield was there. My old priest from when we lived in Springfield was there, and we had everyone from the autism program in Springfield was there, and it was a surreal feeling because they were all cheering me in, and in my mind I'm thinking, I'm doing this for all of you. Right. Yeah. So I mean, that was the cool part. It was kind of like very much a team effort, and I wanted this to be a team effort from day one.
Was Kevin there?
Calvin was not, he was unfortunately not there. That was their first week of school. I did get to talk to him on the phone, and his main question was, when are you going to be home?
Yeah.
So he wanted to know when I was coming home. So
you know, it's a personal question, and you mentioned spending a lot of time in your head, and you have to almost see it to achieve it. Mm-hmm. Do you remember what you were thinking? Do you remember what you were seeing that drove you the distance?
Yeah, I think it's not one thing. Several different things. You know, I thought of just our process and our experience. I thought of, I'm very concerned with letting people down. So I did think, you know, I can't stop even if I'm walking 10, 15 miles. I thought about Calvin a lot, but I also thought about like those individuals that aren't sure where to go and what to do. I thought about other conditions, not just autism, but I thought about my own personal life journey. And then one thing just kept resonating in me, and I wrote it on our Facebook page. And like I said, I encourage anybody to check that out. But one of the things he always says to me is that, you know, he says, "I love you forever and ever." And so I just kept thinking about that too, and that kind of pushes you a little bit, you know. And then when you're a father, you'll do some pretty, and you know, as mothers too. I mean, you do some pretty amazing things for your kids or for your loved ones. And
absolutely.
And I think you know, Calvin and Ashton, my youngest son, they rank pretty much higher than anyone, including me. So.
Yeah. Well, you've shown him that you love him forever and ever, and it was through your actions, so that's remarkable.
What about resources, Jason? Is there a lot of resources for families?
There are a lot of resources, actually. I mean, first and foremost, I encourage anyone just to go online. I mean, a lot of stuff, as you guys know, is just at our tip of our fingers, away from a search somewhere. But you know, you could always speak with Kirsten at the Center for Autism Spectrum Disorder, Leah Grannon at the Autism Program of Illinois, which is throughout the state of Illinois. I spoke about parent groups. There's a lot of parent groups that meet and hold meetings, you know, maybe once a week, once or twice a week. That's so for regionally, like say if, you know, you live in Marion or you live in Carterville, and you can't necessarily make the drive on a Tuesday evening to Mount Vernon or something like that. Don't fret. There's probably one right not a couple blocks from your house. So with the prominency of the condition itself, there's a lot of opportunity out there for support, definitely, because I think that's one of the first and foremost needed things for families. Sure. And then for education and opportunity for the children themselves.
So you aren't alone, and before you know it, you'll have 100, 200 people running the distance, maybe.
Yeah, we had
takes a special person to do that.
One of the coolest things I think was over the 3 days. I mean, we had several followers, but over the 3 days we had over 3,000 people follow the site. So that was pretty amazing.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming to share your story. And again, let's encourage everybody to get on and learn more. It's Calvin's Run. And boy, he has a reason to be proud knowing you're on his team. Good job, Dad.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. We'll be right back.
A good general ophthalmologist does a little bit of everything when it comes to the eye. A broad spectrum anterior segment surgeon. I take care of basic needs, cataract, glaucoma, laser, LASIK, the prescription for glasses, or contact lenses. We take care of everyone. I was one of the first physicians in this area to start multifocal implants. It frees you from that dependency upon glasses. I pride myself on being a good general ophthalmologist. I love what I do, and I want to be there and be available for that patient.
I chose Three Rivers College because it's so convenient.
I can take day, evening,
or online classes fit my schedule.
And there's not a long commute.
You can take classes in Poplar Bluff.
Sykeston!
You can take classes in Dexter, Malden, and Kennett.
Willow Springs, Piedmont,
and many other locations.
Learn more at trcc.edu.
Three Rivers College.
Success starts here.
Register now.
Infection. Let me go ahead and look at your well, I have been here for like 25 years, so I pretty well know quite a bit of people, and I think it makes it a lot easier for people to be able to come in and you know, get the help that they need. And I'm a good listener. I'll sit down and listen to you, and we'll work out the problem together. I'm excited about it being in the area that's going to be out on the main highway there, because I think that'll get a lot of exposure.
We love making new friends. visit us online at facebook.com/SPIELON. Explore an ever-expanding variety of wholesome, locally grown foods when you shop Illinois.
I'm going to ask you to help me in thanking farmers. We're going to create #HugAFarmer, where I'm inviting everyone to send me your selfie while you're hugging a farmer, thanking them for your food. I like to say, did you eat today? Then thank a farmer.
Very good.
Okay.
Who says farming doesn't pay?
Where Fresh is. For more information, visit IllinoisWhereFreshIs.com.
And we're spieling it inside of our Southside Lumber Kitchen, brought to you by Prairie Farms. And it's a good day for some Prairie Farms milk.
Oh yeah, because we have got my favorite
treats right here.
And we've got one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. Wide world. Miss Deidre Dollins from Ziegler, Illinois.
Thank you.
We've known each other how long?
Long time.
Yeah.
You know, okay, here's the story on my favorite treats, because it happens to be near where I live.
Yes.
You know, I moved into your old area, your old stomping ground. Yes. So we're all excited, we're pumped up. The problem is, she's already so popular and everybody knows they want cakes from her and this from her. She's like, you know what, limited hours. And I'm like, you know, but you're busy, aren't you?
Yes, as busy as I
How long has it been?
What a bit.
3 years. 3 years in July, yes.
So before she starts she's going to do a cupcake recipe, I guess. You brought some cookies, and you wouldn't tell us what kind of cookies. We were supposed to try them and guess?
Yes.
Okay.
You can tell me what's in them.
Okay.
Surprise.
You didn't want to share. You wanted a whole one, didn't you? Look at that. Oh, is it a little fall flair? Maybe. I got it.
No.
I got it.
Give me a minute.
You know those Sandies at the grocery store? They taste just like, I mean, it's better than that.
Apparently it ain't.
It's not that. Okay.
The lady that gave me the recipe called them Granny's oatmeal cookies. But is that like any oatmeal cookie you've ever had?
Never.
Is there
wonderful?
Corn? There's quick oats, there's Rice Krispies, and there's finely chopped pecans.
Honey.
And lots of butter. No eggs.
Lots of Prairie Farms butter. No eggs?
And it is Prairie Farms butter. Yes, it is.
Matt.
And you know what? It does taste like those
Sandies, yeah. So we're going to do a cupcake.
Yes.
Is that what you want to do? Okay, let's get started, because we like to eat.
Just a regular box mix.
You know what? And I've not seen that one. Orange.
Walmart doesn't carry them. So I have to watch where I buy them. A lot of the local grocery stores will.
Okay.
Anyway, it's just a basic.
Furloughs carry it.
Make it, yes, just the way you see on the package. That all ready to go.
Now, do you normally do a homemade batter, or you'll do a box batter?
It just depends.
Okay.
If it's a specialty cake, Italian cream, red velvet.
Yeah. Okay.
Pumpkin or carrot cake, I make those from scratch. And most of these for my cupcakes, if it's just vanilla or chocolate, I usually use a box mix.
Okay.
It's just quicker, and I haven't found a recipe that I like any better than the ones that I use.
Deidre, where did this come from? Did your mama cook, your grandma cook, bake?
Well, all my grandmas did, but they really didn't bake and decorate. You know, back when I was a child, they were lucky to get it in the pan and frost it and serve it right out of the pan and you eat it.
Well, there's so many butlers, they couldn't wait to get it.
My mom used to put the toothpicks in to hold the birthday cake together till all the kids could get there and eat it. You know, and I'm like, do you know how dangerous that was?
That's happened too.
Someone could have ingested the, toothpick, so.
Okay, wait, can you crack that egg with one hand?
No.
Really? Can you do it? How do you crack an egg with one hand? Oh boy, here it goes.
Crack it in here, just in case you get any shells.
Oh, wait. See, Julie. No, she cannot.
Look, now see what I've done.
Close, but no cigar.
I'm sorry.
Thank
Look,
you.
I've got stuff in your stuff.
And Deidre, no, we're not using that one. She knew you were going to do that.
Yeah,
Did you bring another one?
No, that's okay. I'll just put that. Anyway, mix that up. Whoop.
Oh,
I did that
Julie
too.
totally
I
did.
did
She
that.
sabotaged her.
Julie.
I really love you.
What are friends for?
I know.
All right. Man, that's good. Now you've got those. Is that kind of a silicone wrap?
Yes, it is.
She was telling me about this.
What happened?
Well, I just saw this one day at the Walmart.
There you go.
I thought, well, that's going to be a good idea, because sometimes when you use the metal beaters that aren't rounded, they will scratch your
There you
seam.
go.
And I use Tupperware a lot. I do have glass bowls, but I use this a lot, and that really cuts into your Tupperware and gets your little plastic pieces in there.
Now look at this.
Oh, that's fancy.
I always have it dripping over here. That's how you keep it from dripping on your little paper cup.
Well, and that's how you also keep it even, like all your cupcakes would be the same size.
Mine never are.
Mine aren't either now.
Evenly.
Now what size is this? Is that just an ice cream scooper?
Yes, but there's different sizes. I've got one that I use when I make white batter because it doesn't rise as high as what the chocolate and others do, and it's just a little bit bigger.
I did not know.
So I can put in the chocolate, I can use the bigger scoop and still get 24 cupcakes.
Nice.
But with the white cake, it usually gets about 22 with the big scoop. So
That's
I
good
use
to
the
know.
smaller one.
I feel like we're on Cupcake Wars. I know. It's like, hurry and get in the kitchen. Let's go. Let's get
Anyway,
this up.
that can go in the oven.
Okay. All right.
Just bake it like it says to.
Okay. Okay, now this is for the
this frosting.
The frosting that will go on the dreamsicle cake. Okay.
This can also be made as a cake also with just 2 different layers, and then you split the layers and you'll put some of this frosting in between.
Deidre, do you have your own creations that people call up and say, I want the Deidre da-da-da?
Well, these.
Okay.
And these.
Okay.
Nice. She brought them both to the Spiel. Excellent. You'll see why they're my favorite treats. Love how this comes full circle like that. It's incredible. And look, by the magic of television, we have some already prepared.
Can we finish this first?
Well, that's the icing for this. Thank you.
That's it?
I'm always thinking ahead.
And I will let you girls do something for me.
Oh, yes, please. Can we take a break and we come back? Can we sample it?
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to do that. We'll take a break and when we come back, we get to sample.
My dad came here in the early 50s and started. My name's John Smith. My brother Terry and I have Smith Dairy Farm, and we're producers of milk for Prairie Farms Dairy. And we're outside at 4:30 in the morning. Cows need fed 365 days a year, and you learn the mannerisms of each animal. You learn who they are. Prairie Farms, they depend on us to be finished milking at a time when the truck's going to come to get the milk. We're all one big team.
Proudly farmer-owned.
It's part of what we've been raised to do.
Prairie Farms.
We're trying to make banking as easy and painless as we can.
We have a track record of doing business well beyond county borders.
And there have been great opportunities, in Jackson County, Williamson County. People with the foresight to take some risk and do some things.
We try to have a direct relationship with all our customers.
How's it going?
Make them feel at home. We're a hometown bank. That's what we're about.
Celebrating 100 years. Find us at DuQuoinStateBank.com.
Southside Lumber's Creative Design Showcase is your headquarters for quality constructed craft-made cabinetry. Craft-made cabinets are available in a wide variety of colors, styles, and finishes. Craft-made cabinets are built to last with durable hardware and all wood construction. You can count on craft-made cabinets to open smoothly. They feature easy touch self-closing drawers standard because you deserve the best. Find cabinets, bath, and flooring at the Creative Design Showcase.
These days, video is everywhere. TVs, computers, even your phone. With so many ways to use video to reach your potential audience, it's become an important part of doing business. If you like the commercials you've seen during the spiel, and if your business could benefit from a creative approach to telling your story, with attention-grabbing visuals and thoughtfully executed scripts, perhaps it's time you give Growing Media a call. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay, so we have to bring them up to date on the play-by-play, right? What's happened so far. We've poured out the cupcake.
Yes.
Okay. We put in the sour cream.
And it was a cream.
Okay. And then now you've started to combine a multitude of things for the icing. So fill us in where we left off.
The same filling.
Okay.
With the sour cream and the sugar, and then you just fold in some Cool Whip and put a little bit of orange coloring.
Or any color you want. You said you could be, okay.
You know what, Deidre, a lot of folks now for weddings are doing the cupcakes, aren't they?
Yes, you don't have to worry about plates and forks, somebody there cutting and serving. So it's just kind of a good idea, I think.
And instead of like a couple of flavors in the layers, you could do a multitude.
Exactly.
Have you seen Cupcake Wars?
I have.
Talk about layers.
Yeah.
I mean, they build like cities and put enough cupcakes to feed the city.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? Would you like to compete in a venue like that, or is that too much?
I'm just really not that.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I'm competitive, but.
Oh, I like that. Did you hear her? She goes, I'm competitive.
She's very competitive.
Don't doubt that.
But
Okay.
not with something like this. Because I would have a hard time like those people do. They just get up there and they just say, oh, this ingredient, that ingredient, that ingredient. And they just start whipping things up and you never know how it's going to turn out.
Exactly.
So it doesn't turn out very well.
Exactly.
So
Well, sometimes they're only given just a few ingredients.
Yes.
They got to make something.
And that would really bother me, not to have it perfected.
Look at the, see, you could not have a bad day if somebody gave you one of those. It's like, try to have a bad day. Here's a cupcake
Can you
from my
imagine
favorite treats. How about that?
That being a job, just to do this all day, that's your job.
Now, how do you keep from eating it? Is it easy not to eat it?
Yes,
It is.
When you handle it and you look at it and you smell it and you have to do it all the time,
You don't want to eat it.
It's not real tempting. Now, I
Okay.
did have a cookie on the way over.
You did?
But as far as the cupcakes, I can try.
It smells so
Especially if it's
good.
chocolate. Now, if that's the only flavor there at an event and it's chocolate cake, of course I'm going to have it.
What about ganache? I love saying the word. I just love it.
I did a cake last weekend for a lady in Royalton. Wanted it for her daughter. It's 21st birthday. And it was just a regular cake, iced in white. And you make a ganache, and all it was just a package of those little baking chips. Red. And you put some cream, heavy cream in with it.
That's it.
After you've melted it.
That's ganache. Such a
And
fancy
then
name.
You stir that up, and I poured it over the top of the cake, and it kind of melted down the side. It looked like blood dripping off the side of the cake. That's what she wanted for her 21st birthday.
But you know what, though? It would be real cool if you had, is it gnocchi, and then you had your ganache.
What's that? Gnocchi, the pasta. See?
I started to say, how
does gnocchi pasta
come in with icing? You just take it and you dip it.
Hey, that was incredible. If you haven't tried anything from My Favorite Treats, you have to. How do they find you? Can they just drive up that 148, call you, Facebook, or you?
The best. Okay. I'm not smart enough to have a smartphone and operate one, so I don't have something with me that I can get notifications and messages all the time.
Okay.
I do have a Facebook page, My Favorite Treats. I have another one that's my personal one, Deidre K. Dollins.
Okay.
And they can message me on there.
Would you ship? What if somebody wants some stuff? Could you ship?
It depends on what it is.
Okay.
Now, cupcakes, I would not.
Could not ship the cupcakes.
No.
Okay. Okay. Well, we can ship. That's good. Well, thanks so much for coming. We appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
And we'll be right back.
Anybody can loan you money. Not everybody can understand how to make it fit for the bank, fit for you. 12 years ago, I went out on my own to do something different. I needed a loan. I talked to Steve Cook at Farmers. Steve took the time to listen and understand exactly what it was I was trying to accomplish. That personal investment that he had, not in cash, but his time. I think that's kind of their niche.
Give us a chance to show you no one will work harder or care more for you.
I like people. There's actually someone who cares about your health and wants to provide that service for you. Send people to specialties when they need those people. That's woman checks, that's cancer screenings at the appropriate ages. Adults need immunizations just like kids do. I think it's a very compassionate group and caring for an underserved population, people that haven't had a provider and don't know what they're missing.
I chose Three Rivers College.
For college courses that transfer to the university I want.
For career technical training to get a better job.
I can live on campus.
I can live at home.
I can take classes around my family's schedule.
I'm getting a great start on my future. I'm getting a great start on my child's future.
Three Rivers College.
Success starts here.
Register now.
To find out more about the Spiel or even watch past episodes, visit SPIELJan2nd2016.
And we have a wonderful bunch of folks joining us now. Kim Mizzo of the Hope Ministry, and you brought your team of individuals here. You know, we've said it many times. You're one bad decision, and not always of your fault, away from hard times, homelessness. You know, we've talked about that.
Well, it doesn't have to be a decision. Sometimes you lose your jobs. There's circumstances that come up to where, you know, we all fall on our luck sometimes, down our luck. So, so happy to know that there's organizations like you out there.
Let's talk about the work that you're doing, what led you to do this type of work, and then just talk about the feeling that you get from doing that.
Well, it's through Love and Truth Church. Okay. It's a ministry through them, and we go every third Saturday, and we fix a meal and
to a homeless shelter?
To a homeless
Okay.
shelter. A lot of people in the church that will donate the food, and we'll go there and fix it. We'll serve them, and then we sit down and eat with them.
You know, I think that's the most important part. Besides feeding their stomachs, feeding the soul, letting them know that you care, and taking the word with you.
And we encourage them. You know, it's a ministry. We minister to them, and we encourage them. We just sit down and talk to them like they're just one of us.
Sure.
You know, they're our
like
friends.
They're important.
Right, and that's what they want. They want to be accepted. They want people to know that sometimes through a chain of events that they've gotten there. You know, I've come across people that's had careers and families and houses, and through a chain of events that they found themselves there, and they don't know what to do. They don't know how to get out of it. So it's, you know, it's very. They feel ashamed. They feel, you know, that they don't know how they got there and how to get to the next point of getting out.
Sure. But because there are fine folks like you all willing to help and offer a hand up, not a hand out,
that's right.
Many times that makes a difference. And you know, in all the years of covering those type stories and interviewing those individuals, because everybody wants to know, well, how did this happen? You know, how did we get to this point?
Right.
And it could be for any number of reasons. And I remember in particular, Boston, Massachusetts, where it gets very, very cold.
Yes.
Some veterans would be out on the street and would refuse blankets, and they wouldn't come in, and you thought, my, the burdens they must be carrying. You know, do you see a lot of that? Do you try to help them overcome some of that stuff?
Sure, and actually we do. They have a stand down over at Marion VA every year, and we're getting ready to be a part of that too, and that's for homeless veterans.
Sure.
But yeah, they always say, well, there's probably somebody else that needs it more than I do.
Wow.
And they're sitting there with nothing. Wow. But also, they're very appreciative of it. You know, it's, you know, some people have spent their lifetime on the streets, you know, but other people don't have a clue what to do. They live out in the woods, and they said there's tent cities in the woods in various places.
You know, you talked about the Hope organization. Is it national? I mean, is
no,
it?
it's a ministry. Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
It's a ministry through our church. Where we started it through our church, and we've had people that just had a heart for it, and we've come together and started this, just going various places. And
you know, when it gets really, really difficult, not that an adult is any less important, but when you see a child and you think for a moment that a child may be sleeping in a car or under a bridge, and you know what? With as blessed as we all are, it doesn't have to be that way. I believe if more people would just get involved and help out.
Are you ministering to? Are you seeing a turnover? Or are you seeing the same people when you go back? Where are you seeing?
Sometimes. A lot of them, like I said, that some of them's been on the streets for years, and we do see them, but we welcome them and we encourage them. We have helped people get employed through filling out a resume for them, or helping them with getting from point A to point B, clothing. You know, we've helped in a lot of different areas with giving them a hand up.
Sure.
Hand up.
I bet you guys, I don't know how long ago it was, but it could make the task, or it can make the road ahead even more difficult for homeless individuals when you have these panhandlers. And that was an epidemic about, what was it, months or a year or so ago in Carterville, Illinois, where, I mean, they had posts positioned in different areas, and these people, you know, you'd watch them, they would refuse a job at a fast food eatery, but then they go across the street to the hotel and stay, and then come over to work the next day.
Yes, it was.
You know, and it only makes the road harder for individuals who are truly homeless.
Because at that time, there was a homeless family that I had stopped to talk to, and they had 3 children.
Wow.
And he was telling me, he says, this is, you know, we're in this situation, but I can't get help because these guys, you know, they're on, and nobody will stop and help me.
Right.
You know, so
they're all tarred with the same brush.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they
Yes.
shouldn't be.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. Do they just have to move on? Do they have to go somewhere where they can get help, or you just have this innate ability in your mind? It's survivability, I guess.
Yeah, and lots of times, you know, we would help them out, but then they move on to something else or another town even. You know, we do have a sheet where they have different resources where they could get help.
Okay.
You know, we do provide that for them. We provide books and, you know, just about anything that we ourselves can do to help.
Sure.
We don't so much like to give them cash. I mean, you know, there's a lot of other ways that you can minister to them and help them out without giving them cash.
Sure.
And I know that it's sad that it has to be that way, but
it takes that one to run it.
It really does, and then everybody then wants cash.
Sure.
And that's just not what it's about. It's about joining together and helping out your brother or your sister that's in need.
I wish we had more hope groups all over, you know? That does so much.
Yes, yes.
What is it that you mentioned before that the homeless individuals may say to you, I'm embarrassed, I don't want to be judged. Is there a resounding message that many of them have shared that maybe you could educate those people watching? Don't stare, don't judge. You know, if you want to help me, that's one thing. But what are some of the things that they would say to you in the way of being accepted?
Well, the thing that comes to mind is, again, you don't know their story.
Right.
Everybody battles something. You know, everybody has a story of things that's happened to them in the past, and you know, they might have made the wrong decisions. It might have been their fault, but they find themselves in this position. It still doesn't mean that you shouldn't help them. It still doesn't mean that you turn your head, because you know, you're supposed to love thy neighbor.
That's right.
You're supposed to
I
help
was
your
say
brother.
That. Yeah, the Bible says if I'm hungry, you know, feed me.
Feed me,
if
yeah.
I'm thirsty, absolutely.
And you know what, too? You never know when you're going to be in that situation.
Exactly.
I mean, something
that's another thing,
could happen tomorrow, and you're going to need help. Do you want help? So pay it forward.
They didn't wake up one morning and say, "Hey, I want to be a homeless."
Sure.
That you know, just like I said, a chain of events has got them in that situation. But we do give out blankets and coats and hats and gloves. I mean, we collect items. The hardest thing for Hope is storage. It's storage. It's to storage all that stuff. You know, people they have big hearts and they want to give, but unless we know where homeless people are or where to go to distribute this stuff, then it just piles and piles and piles, you know, and we just don't have the room to.
So that's one way people can help. If you have an old warehouse or
storage
or whatever,
Definitely.
reach out to you because you need that. And then obviously what supplies and.
We do make up bags every time we go to the Good Samaritan house, and it usually has like the little soaps and shampoo, a comb, a razor, toothbrush, toothpaste, and you know, it's just a little personal hygiene.
Everything. It's
but
everything
you would
to
not
those individuals.
believe,
Yes.
you would not believe how they react on just getting some little something, anything that somebody cared enough to give them that. I had a young man come up to my husband, said when they set up the table outside, he sits and talks to him, you know. I always try to go with socks. Socks is a big thing because they don't get socks. They're walking and you know their feet gets chapped. And this young man come up and he asked how much you want for the socks, and my husband said nothing. These items were donated and you're free to have anything on this table. And he said, really? He said, yeah. He said, sit down in this seat and put them on. And he said he got a big lump in his throat because he said when the man took his shoes off, his feet was all chapped and red and blistered, you know, and he put them socks on. And he said he sat there and just, you know, and got the biggest smile. He said, you just don't know when the last time it was I had a pair of socks.
Wow. Y'all are tearing up.
And it made our problems look this small because all this man wanted was a pair of socks and something in his belly. That's all he wanted. And somebody to care.
Yeah.
You know, he just you know, my husband shook his hand and said, brother, you know, you're welcome to anything here, you know, and the guy I just wanted the socks.
He just stayed after that. He's like, you people are good people, and I'm just going to stay right here, and I feel good. But, you know.
It makes it all worthwhile.
It does.
It does, things like that. And, you know, they say time and time again, he said, I've heard many times is, we get a lot of donations here. He said, but your church and your ministry is the only ones that will sit and eat with us. And he said that means more to me than all the other ones just donating the food. Yeah. That we take the time out to minister to them and talk to them about the Lord. Great. Hope is homeless outreach, partners of encouragement. That's what the HOPE stands for.
How about that? It was an acronym.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was just thinking.
I was thinking it was HOPE.
You were just sharing hope to people.
Well, keep up the good work, and thank you so much for coming to share the story.
Well, thank you for
having
us.
This is a need in every corner of the world, every corner of the country.
That's right. That's right.
Again, I really believe it doesn't have to be that way, because there are enough people who are blessed and can make a difference. Yeah. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
And we'll be right back.
To find out more about The Spiel or even watch past episodes, visit SPIELJan2nd2016. Watch the Healthy Hippie Chef on The Spiel.
So we primarily take care of children from birth to up to age 21. We do child care, immunizations, sports physicals, school physicals, take care of, sick visits, snotty noses, ear infections, belly aches, you name it. We both, Dr. Jones and I, have open pediatric practices, so, we'll welcome anybody to come on over and give us a try.
Confidence, trust.
It's not just an account, it's a relationship.
It's not just the loan, it's adding value.
When I said we're passionate about the people we serve in our trust department, gosh, I mean it.
Customers always come first.
At the Bank of Heron, it's not just a loan, it's a relationship.
If we're going to be different than our competitors, it has to be that relationship, that friendship, that trust.
It is not just a bank, it's a relationship.
Yeah, I think it's building the relationship.
This is a full-fledged furniture store. We have lots of nice products, Kazoya chairs, and it's, as you can see, it's tastefully done, it's coordinated. There are so many things in here that work nicely with other things. They want the real stuff. They don't want stuff that they're gonna have to replace, a week from now or, a year from now. They want things that will last them for years to come. So I pride myself on quality furniture, quality merchandise, so you don't have to do that.
A good general ophthalmologist does a little bit of everything when it comes to the eye. A broad spectrum anterior segment surgeon. I take care of basic needs, cataract, glaucoma, laser, LASIK, the prescription for glasses, or contact lenses. We take care of everyone. I was one of the first physicians in this area to start multifocal implants. It frees you from that dependency upon glasses. I pride myself on being a good general ophthalmologist. I love what I do, and I want to be there and be available for that patient.
And once again, a great show.
We delivered. We just
always knocked it right out.
We did. And it's so interesting to me because you see these bands, and Jason shared these with us, and it says Cabins Run 2015. So you're going to get attention. People notice these right off the bat. Have you noticed that?
Because they say something cool.
Yeah.
It's for a cause, so everybody wants to read them.
Autism awareness, and it is an important cause, and especially now. What was it that he said to us earlier that? We were off camera, and he said, when my son was diagnosed with autism, it was 1 in
66.
No, that's now.
Oh,
so it's so many more. It was
700. No, 1 in 178.
That's it. Yeah. And he goes, and then now it's like 1 in 67.
You know what? And he's 12 years old. What's 12 more years?
And he said, we'd ask about a link or whatever, and he said, of course, there was that debate regarding immunizations. He says he's not buying it, and they're looking at a couple of other things, and wow. But I'm glad that we could gain awareness for him, and
I learned a lot.
I did.
I learned a lot, and
that's
you know what?
That's
right. So if there's someone out there that I think his biggest thing that he got across to the viewers is, if you're in this situation, resources are out there. Please go Google. Please go find that support group.
You're not alone. You have
Togetherness. You like that? How we work together?
Teamwork.
Teamwork.
Life's teamwork.
Teamwork, yeah.
Like you and I should get better at teamwork.
What?
No, I'm kidding. What do you got?
I'm the leader of the team.
And I work.
That's right.
You're the
It's perfect.
team and I
You're
work.
the team. I'm the head of the team there. Synergies. You've heard of that word, or synergy.
Synergy.
Synergy. See?
Synergy.
Ashley's phone speaks.
You know
Matt.
what? Real quick.
I could Synergy. a better word than they do.
Synergy.
Wait.
Synergetic. Synergy.
Yeah, synergy.
But you
She's
know what?
speaking a little weird.
We don't need to have that because we know that's synergy just by looking
Exactly,
at it.
exactly.
Did you think it was pronounced any other way?
No, we just think it's cool.
Did you
when we
think
let
it
the
was
computer
synergy?
Synergy.
No, you didn't.
Synergy.
Synergy.
Synergy. Guy.
What does it mean?
Okay. The interaction of elements that, when combined, produce a total effect that is greater than the sum of the individual elements or contributions.
Does it have an
How about
easier
that?
definition?
I just think it means the power of all, when all parts are working together for the greater good. Yes? Like the spiel, we're better together. Synergy. How about that?
We are synergy.
Synergetic. Synergetic?
Oh.
Synergies?
Are you ready to do our?
Yes.
Let me start?
Yes.
Synergy.
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 Synergy. Together.
Synergy.
Does everybody have it?
I like it.
You'll use that word, won't you, Matthew?
You know,
As much as I've used all the other ones.
As much as you've used all the others, yes.
synergy. You know what? I can say this one, so I'm using it. The others I just can't say.
Yeah, that's true. You can't.
You're not working with me here. You're not synergizing me. Synergize.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.
At John A. Logan College, we know what our mission is all about.
It's about you.
It's about me.
It's all about me.
It's about me and a better future for him.
It's all about me.
Because here, it's all about you. Visit jalc.edu. Registration underway.
You know, there's other providers through Christopher Rural Health that we can have patients see as far as like dental or psychiatric services. And there's even providers that do like pain management or, you know, medications to help get off of pain medicines. I think we work with patients to help them access health care through either a sliding fee or helping them get their medications discounted. I enjoy what I do and I enjoy helping people.
To have it all without spending all that you have, you've got to look your best for less. That's why this mama is bargain savvy, so you don't have to be. But most of all, I love sharing DIY tips and tricks that can simplify your life and natural remedies that you can use every day. So each week I'll feature brilliant ideas that you can use, all to help you have it all without spending all that you have. For more tips and tricks, visit mamasaurus.com.
You're watching The Spiel. Patty's 1880 Settlement would like to wish you and yours a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.